It's not always the most exciting video to highlight the people who make the games that we love, but we figured we'd give it the old gameranx try because there's actually some pretty interesting stories to be told. And Grand Theft Auto 5 has one of the longest credits ever. While we can't really highlight every single person that made the game, we can point out some of the key players that really made Grand Theft Auto 5 and even Rockstar Games what it is. Rockstar Games, as big as it is really notoriously secretive, and in my research, I found that it's more of a sense of camaraderie. Nobody really wants to take credit as an individual for the entire team. So because of that, honestly, a lot of these guys are kind of ghosts, but the picture it all paints is pretty interesting, so let's try and break it down. Here are 10 of the most important people on the Grand Theft Auto 5 team. Starting off at number 10, we have Imran Sorrow, co-producer and mission-focused game designer for Grand Theft Auto 5, who has worked with Rockstar since Grand Theft Auto Vice City, working as a mission designer. In coming up with a lot of the main missions and tasks players do in Grand Theft Auto 5, Sorrow has actually moved on to being one of the leading forces and faces behind GTA Online's continued and seemingly never-ending development. Whenever GTA Online pops up, there's an interview on IGN or something, bam, he's the guy in the interview. Recently, he spoke about how busy his team has been thanks to the GTA Online content. He said that the shift to working on an involving online game means there are fewer pauses in production. We are constantly producing content for GTA Online alongside everything else we're working on. His workload is really a good example of while you think Rockstar Games couldn't get any bigger, it definitely seems like it is. But at number 9, let's talk about Rupert Humphreys. He's one of the more recent core writers of Rockstar's games. He works side by side with Rockstar leader Dan Houser, and he's ushered the Rockstar games into more modern storytelling flows. While earlier games took lots of inspiration from stuff like Scarface and Boys in the Hood, more recent Rockstar games have moved to where inspiration a bit less on their sleeves and out in the open, and a bit more subtly. I'm sure you've probably noticed, but with more recent Rockstar stuff like, of course, Grand Theft Auto 5, they've been feeling less and less like derivative works and more like something with a unique story to tell. Humphreys has writer credits starting from Grand Theft Auto 4 to its expansions, and then importantly Red Dead Redemption, and some side stuff from LA Noire, Max Payne 3, and of course, you guessed it, Grand Theft Auto 5. But at number 8, we have Adam Fowler. He's the technical director for all Grand Theft Auto games. Like many of the folks we're going to mention here, he's been around for years at Rockstar, here in 1993, way back when it was DMA Designs. A technical director like Fowler most often is charged with leading the push to develop, for lack of a better word, new things in games. Essentially, ideas are great, but technical directors have to find a way to put that stuff in motion. Take, for example, in Grand Theft Auto 5, the character swapping. It started as a great idea on paper, but Adam Fowler and his team of engineers had to come up with the technology to seamlessly switch between characters with minimal load in GTA 5's world. This is a crucial role because it's where a lot of decisions are made. Our art directors, designers, and even marketing stuff and shareholders need to know what the game will technically be capable of before actually moving forward. He's done great work with Rockstar Games for many years, but after the completion of Grand Theft Auto 5, he eventually left Rockstar in 2015. And at number 7, we have Aaron Garbett. He's an art director and another longtime senior Rockstar member working on Space Station Silicon Valley way back when they were the humble DMA design starting in 1996. Today, now, he leads a team of about 150 designers and artists at Rockstar North dedicated to creating the vision of the GTA games, basically making them what they are and what you actually see. Garbett is in charge of dictating tasks revolving around map design, most notably coming up with how large the world is and what the map will be and what it will actually look like. Garbett and his team spend plenty of time actually scouting real-world locations to give their own spin on them in their game world. You probably know that if you played any Grand Theft Auto game and then visited the corresponding real-world locations. He's said on record that him and his team spend roughly 4 years straight in these game worlds, driving through them, walking through them, and constantly iterating on them, all way more than they actually see the actual streets they live on in real life. And in terms of actual art assets and artists, Garbett worked to most notably make all artists working on Grand Theft Auto 5 to collaborate more with each other, to kind of improve morale in the face of a massive task in front of them because the game was so huge. I guess it's pretty safe to say that it worked, right? But for the next few, let's highlight some key voice actors because they are very important. At number 6, we have Sean Fontano, who plays Franklin Clinton in Grand Theft Auto 5. Fontano got his start as a local Los Angeles MC going by the nickname Solo. Apparently he got in a fist fight at a traffic light with Ice Cube once where he knocked him out. That's probably for another video. But Fontano does recount a real-world criminal past before his music career that helped him get into Franklin's shoes. He actually goes on record to say that he is Franklin and Franklin is him. But at number 5, we have Ned Luke, who plays Michael. Luke has appeared in various smaller roles over 20 years in like Law & Order and All My Children, until eventually he decided to take 4 years off to decide if he wanted to keep pursuing acting, and then he opened up a restaurant with his brother. But then he got the call for a role in an upcoming video game, and he actually said, "No way am I doing a video game." Until he read the script, because then he jumped in head first. He even gained 25 pounds to understand and portray the slightly chubby Michael in motion capture sessions. He's even a dad like Michael, and he even sounds like him just in interviews. When asked about his young son being excited to see him in a video game, Luke said, he's not gonna play the game until he's in college. But at number 4, we have Stephen Hogg, who plays Trevor. Stephen Hogg is an actor with a more traditional career path as an actor that you may have seen pop up in some things. While he probably looks and sounds most like his video game counterpart, he's definitely not as crazy in interviews and work. Showing up in Third Watch and Law & Order, he's also popped up more recently in Westworld and The Walking Dead, and he was pretty awesome. He approached portraying Trevor as a manifestation of the id, as in the Freudian id, the one that acts on instincts. On set, he asked people what they were comfortable with, but ultimately he went for spontaneity and tried to be as unpredictable as Trevor would be, and I think it definitely worked. And at number 3, we have Craig Connor, the music director. Connor has a path similar to the other folks here. He got his start early on with DMA design, crafting and mastering music from the early GTA games with a scrappy bunch of developers, to now leading entire teams of audio masters and track selectors. Craig Connor has stated that one of the reasons to move towards a more licensed track soundtrack focused sound, especially when they went full in with Vice City, was that they simply couldn't compose and record that much period accurate music at once. So using real world tracks was 1, really cool, and 2, made more sense anyway. Another interesting tidbit, according to Connor, the mastering process for all songs on a GTA game is insanely difficult because each song has to be mastered and layered to all consistently sound like they're being played on the radio, but at the same time, each station needs to sound completely authentic. After he finished work on Grand Theft Auto 5, Craig Connor and Rockstar parted ways as he thought it was a good time to bow out and pursue his own creative projects. But at number 2, we have to talk about Leslie Benzies, listed as producer and game designer for Grand Theft Auto 5. Leslie is essentially one of the core Rockstar North members and founders of what GTA is today, from when he assembled the team to make Grand Theft Auto 3 back in the day. He's essentially one of the trio with Sam and Dan Houser as the fathers of the modern Grand Theft Auto game, allegedly flexing his producer muscles to make the games open, fun, and just culturally relevant too. After work on Grand Theft Auto 5 started to wrap and he took a long sabbatical near the end of 2014, things got messy when it was announced that Benzies left the company in 2016. However, things get interesting because it apparently wasn't a clean break. After leaving, Benzies launched surprise legal action against Rockstar and Take-Two, claiming $150 million in unpaid royalties, in a somewhat brash lawsuit that basically outlines Benzies as the one who makes Grand Theft Auto games actually good, starting with 3, and that he was owed way more money and credit. But honestly, with stuff like this, we'll probably never know the full story. But in leaving Rockstar, Benzies went on to pursue his own creative projects with his own game studios and has begun work on an ambitious game as of now titled Everywhere. But at number 1, of course, we have to talk about Sam and Dan Houser, the co-founders of Rockstar Games as it stands today, and a big part of the driving creative force behind the games. Working with BMG Interactive in the 90s, they signed DMA Design to develop Race and Chase, which they later changed the name to Grand Theft Auto. Once BMG Interactive was sold to Take-Two Interactive in 1998, the Housers moved the company to New York and founded it as Rockstar Games. With Sam behind the ideas and feel and look behind a game and seemingly some of the business stuff, and Dan serving as a large force behind the writing for most games, they both also serve producer roles at the company, in charge of collaborating and making decisions on some of the main foundations of the games that they actually work on. For example, Sam went on record saying that his job is to be militant in staying true to the design decisions of a game, like working to make Vice City as authentically 80s and cool as possible, while Dan has major writing credits on all games, as well as helping make decisions like choosing the final lineup of music tracks and names for the radio stations and games and stuff. He's also done some small pedestrian voice acting in games that you probably never even really notice. But honestly, we don't know too much about their day-to-day work in Rockstar because really they avoid the spotlight so much. It seems like number 1, they don't want to get themselves in trouble, especially since they make controversial games, but number 2, because they want to focus on the brand, not the individual. And that's cool, I guess. It's worked out for them. They're both super rich now after developing some of the most best-selling games of all time.
This all makes for a pretty interesting story, right? It's definitely a colorful bunch of characters that makes this game, but this is a new video
video we're trying, so I definitely want to hear from you guys. What other game developers would you like us to cover? Has someone made your favorite game? Maybe it's one guy or a team of 200. Just drop it in the comments, let us know. And if you know anyone else from the Grand Theft Auto team or someone who made it special, let's talk about it down there. You guys know the deal though. If you have anything else for me, you can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino as well. Thanks for coming around. Clicking the like button does help us out and shows us we should do more of these. And if you're new, you should subscribe because we put out this stuff all the time. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.